Aloha, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my channel, Las Vegas Travel and More. This is Freestyle with Mark Fisher, and I'm your host, Mark Fisher. I'm glad to have you here. And this is a live stream that I'm doing. We're going to talk about no guest today. It's going to be me. I'm the guest. And so you're going to find out a bit more about me. Some of you watch me on our other channel, Scientology Peeling the Onion. And I've talked a lot about my time in Scientology and the cult and different abuses and things like that. But this is more about life, Las Vegas, travel, and more. That's what it's about. So it's a live stream. You can get in the chat. You can ask questions. I will be answering them. Or if you want to make any comments, I'll put those up as well. And we're going to have a guest appearance, of course, by Misha, as always. There'll be a playtime with Misha. And we're going to do a true and false segment where I answer true and false to different things. And I just wanted to welcome everybody here. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, Las Vegas Travel and More. It's down in the description. You can click on it. And I really appreciate the support. The channel's growing and growing, and I want it to continue to grow. So I just appreciate y'all for being here. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is Las Vegas, living in Las Vegas. I moved here in, I think it was November 1990 after leaving Scientology, along with my friends, as you know, Janice Gillum Grady, her husband Paul, Janice's sister Terry, and her husband Fernando. And we moved here and got into the mortgage business and started our lives over. It was something different at the time. Las Vegas was boomtown at the time, as I've talked about in other videos. It was starting to grow really big, and the mortgage industry was the right industry to get into because people were buying houses, and the town was growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So I started out, I had no experience as a loan officer. We were working on commission only, so we had to work really hard in order to try and make any money. And it was difficult when we first started out. Didn't know anything about the mortgage business, had to learn on the ground. There wasn't as many lenders at the time. There was a lot of people who wanted to borrow money, but we were new at doing this sort of thing. So we kind of learned as we went along. And that lasted for a while. And I got used to living on my own, having my own apartment, paying my own rent, cooking food every once in a while. But to be honest with you, it was a lot cheaper to go out and eat at the buffets. I put on 35 pounds immediately after coming to Las Vegas because all of a sudden we could eat food and didn't have to take so long to do it. So that was a big change in my life. And then we just wanted to get on with our lives and get started. That lasted for about a year. Las Vegas, it was fun at the time. It was new for me, going around seeing shows. I remember the first concert I ever saw, or the first show I ever saw when I came to Las Vegas, was Waylon Jennings' Sahara Hotel. And it was like $30 to go see the show and have great seats, great tickets. And so that was like my first experience with entertainment in Las Vegas. Shortly thereafter, things didn't really work out for me too well here in Las Vegas. And after about a year of being here, I ended up having to move down to Houston, Texas. And I moved down to Texas for a couple of years. I got offered a job down there. Things were not working out well here. I wasn't making enough money in Las Vegas at the time. So I went ahead and I took that opportunity. I moved down to Texas, where I made some lifelong friends. And I really enjoyed living in Texas. But after a couple of years being down there, Paul Grady and Janice Grady, they ended up buying into the mortgage company that they were working at. And Janice's husband, Paul, invited me to come back to Las Vegas and make more money. Hi, Terry Ray. It's good to see you here. So they invited me to come back. So I did. I moved back to Las Vegas in 1993, and I've been here ever since. So I've been here a total of 32, 33 years, if you want to call it that. At the time, I worked again in the mortgage industry, and I did much better this time around. But again, it became a grind after a while. So after about 5 or 6 years, around the year 2000, I decided to leave the company that Janice and Paul had, and I went out on to a different company. That's when I really started taking off, because I went to a company where I could be a loan officer, and I made really big commissions there, and I made a lot of money. So from around 2000 through until the crash. We had the crash in 2008. Everybody remembers the economy crash in 2008. I made a lot of money as a loan officer. I mean, that was boomtown in Las Vegas. Property values were going up. People were moving here. And I made a lot of money during that time period. And that allowed me to travel. And I got to travel around the world. I went all over Asia, went over Europe, and went to Hawaii. And that's where my love of travel, finally, I got to experience that during that time period. And it was just a great time for me in my life. I bought my first house and I had a business. I built it up. I had 2 or 3 people that were working for me, and I was just expanding my life in that time. Shortly thereafter, we had the crash in 2008, 2009, and I tried to hang on. I was working with Janice at the time. She had her own mortgage company, and I went back to work over there, but it was impossible at that time. When we had the big financial crash in 08 and 09 here in Las Vegas, we were foreclosure city. Everybody was losing their homes. They couldn't afford to refinance them. I lost all of my clients. I had over 300 clients at the time that basically I could not help anymore because there was no way to refinance them out of the properties because they were upside down on them. Their mortgages were higher than the value of the properties because there was a big crash that happened at that time. And I hung on for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and I basically lost everything. There was no way to continue to survive, and I ended up losing my house. I ended up losing my business, and I basically had to start over. This was the second time in my life that I basically had to start over. The first time, of course, was when I left Scientology. So at that time, I just started looking for other jobs in other fields, and it was really, really difficult. From 2010 until 2016, I went through 10 different jobs in 6 years. And it wasn't because I wasn't good at the jobs. I went into sales, I went into phone sales, I did this and that. I would start working at a company, I would do really well, and then the next thing you know, the company was closing its doors and I had to move on to someplace else. So it was really difficult to make a living, and particularly starting over because it was just me and I had my 2 dogs at the time, and I didn't have a place to live. I had to get a roommate and move into a house and start all over again. But I persevered, and I ended up at a company the last 3 years from 2013 to 2016 where I did really well. I worked for yellowpages.com selling advertising for the Yellow Pages online, and that company was really, really good. I made good money there. And it was a union company because the company had been owned by AT&T, and then it got sold to a different company. Well, they decided that they didn't like the fact that we were union here in Las Vegas, so they shut the company down and moved it all to Alabama, where it was not a union state. And so every one of us lost our jobs. We were just given our walking papers, and here's your severance, and out on the street you had to go again. So this was in 2016. So at that time, I went ahead and I got back into the mortgage industry. Janice was still doing mortgages, and I had some other friends that were actually doing well because the market was turning around. So I got my mortgage license again in the state of Nevada, and I went back into the mortgage industry, and I worked from 2016 up until the middle of COVID. When COVID hit in 2020, of course, we were shut down. Everything was shut down. Business slowed down, and I ended up not doing as many mortgages during that time period. But also, one of the things that I enjoyed was the fact that I was less stressed. There was less stress in my life because when I was working in the mortgage industry, I mean, you're constantly answering the phone. I mean, the phone's ringing all the time. You've got real estate agents you're dealing with, both the buyer and the seller if you're doing a purchase transaction. You've got lenders that you're dealing with. You've got different brokers and different people, and so your phone, and customers too, so your phone's constantly ringing all day long, and you make good money dealing with that. But I learned during the COVID, when we had the lockdown, that I actually was enjoying myself, not being so stressed out. So I ended up taking early retirement 2 years ago. I went ahead, I'm now 65 years old, but I went ahead and took my Social Security at 63. I did the mathematics on it, and it worked out for me that I should take it early. And I was able to then continue working self-employed, doing my own thing, 4 hours a day, and making good money doing that too, but not enough that it would penalize my Social Security. So I went ahead and I took early retirement, and my stress level went down to practically zero. And it's been practically zero for quite some time. And then when I turned 65 last August, I got on Medicare because I'd been without health insurance for about 2-3 years, and being self-employed, and also being in a mortgage company, they didn't have health insurance. So all of a sudden, I'm on Medicare last August, and I've got healthcare coverage, I've got dental coverage, I've got vision coverage, and I'm retired. I get to work when I want to and do what I want, and I get to do this channel. We started that up during that time period, doing my other channel, Scientology, Peeling the Onion, and this channel. And I just continued, I work part-time just to keep busy in the mornings, Monday through Friday, for about 4 hours a day. And that's it. So I work about 20 hours a week. I do these videos. And then I'm also a licensed notary public. I do notary work, which is also my own business. And it keeps me busy, keeps me interested. And I live a stress-free life. So I'm very happy. I take care of my mother, who's going to be 90. Let's see, she's going to be 94. Yeah, 94 in September. She's 93 years old. My mother retired and moved here in Las Vegas in 1999. And she moved from Washington, D.C., where she had been working for years. She was 69 at the time. And she's been here now for 25 years. And I've been able to spend more time with her now, during these 25 years than I did from birth till I moved out of the house at 17, 18 years old. So we've actually spent more time together now than when I was a little kid. And so about a couple of years ago, she had a bad fall. She was living on her own in her own apartment about a mile away from me. And so we ended up having to close down her apartment and move her into an actual group home, which is it's an actual house. She's very well taken care of there. I go see her just about every day. I just took her yesterday to get her hair done. And she's got her own room. She's got a television. She's got her piano. She's got a great life. They feed her. They give her medication. They wash her clothes. I mean, I said, Mom, you're now retired and you've got all these people taking care of you. When you were in your apartment, you had to do all this stuff yourself, and it was much more difficult for her. So it's ended up working really well for her. And so we're happy, and she's in good health for her age. She's losing her memory as everybody does as they get older, and that's really the only thing that's going on. But the rest of her with that kind of care, her health is actually doing really well, and so she's doing that. So I during COVID, I decided to get a dog, and that's when I got Misha, because I didn't want to be here by myself, and so I've got Misha. So it's just me and Misha, working part-time, doing these channels, doing the shows for you guys, and I hope you all enjoy them. But Las Vegas has changed quite a bit over that last 34 years or so since I've been here, and it's still continuing to be a great place to live and to work. And that's pretty much my life history here. One of the things, I'm old enough now that at 65 years old, I mean, it's harder when you're younger. I mean, you're trying to make it. I did not have any children, so I'd never remarried after I left Scientology. So I didn't have that responsibility like other people's do. But what I basically tried to concentrate on while I've been on my own all these years is to spend time with my family, spend time with my friends, spend time with my dog. I've reduced my stress level and just live a happy life. When I lost everything in 2008 through 2010, and I mean everything, I lost my house, I lost a lot of my possessions, I lost my business and all that. You reevaluate your life at that time. And basically I had to reevaluate what was important in my life, and I could downsize very easily, and I've done it a couple of times since then, because having a big house, I lived by myself, I worked out of my house, but that was it. There were rooms in my house I didn't even go into because it was so big. I didn't need them. So I realized that I could downsize and not have to live such an extravagant life. I didn't need to chase the American dream. I just needed to be happy and do the things that made me happy and have fun. And so that's why I like to concentrate on travel, because I love new experiences and experiencing, new cultures, that type of thing. And so I've just been concentrating on that. And it's easy to say now that I'm this old, but I basically have always landed on my feet. I've never really stressed out or worried about things. I've relied on my friends that have helped me out from time to time, and also my family. But basically I've been making it on my own. and I'm just trying to live a happy life, because you know something, who knows how long this is going to go on. You know, none of us know how long we're going to be around. But my philosophy and viewpoint is enjoy every day. Life is in you today, you know, and don't worry about the future. And you can't regret the past. You just got to keep moving forward. And that's kind of been my philosophy for life. With that being said, I wanted to tell you about a little bit more about Las Vegas, and you're going to find out some more things about me. And what I wanted to talk to you about is that here in Las Vegas, one of the things that I like to do, that over the last 14 years, 15, 16 years, I think it is I like to go out and socialize. So I go out, there's a local bar downtown here in Las Vegas, and it's a famous bar, and it's called Hogs and Heifers. And I wanted to show you a little bit about that right here. Hogs and Heifers is, hold on, there we go, right here. Hogs and Heifers is a bar. It's right downtown next to the downtown Grand Hotel and the Mob Museum. And it's based on, it was opened originally in New York City. There's Misha in New York City. And it was the bar that was featured in the movie Coyote Ugly. If anybody saw the movie Coyote Ugly, it's actually based on the bar Hogs and Heifers. They actually approached the owner of Hogs and Heifers at the time to be a consultant on the film, and she said she'd be glad to do it, but she wanted the bar to be called Hogs and Heifers, and they wouldn't do that, so she decided not to be part of it. So instead, they hired one of her staff to be the consultant, and that pissed her off no end. So anyway, so we don't really particularly talk about that movie around her or around that bar. But she was very successful in Manhattan, and then she opened up a location here in Las Vegas. And it's a combination biker bar and local bar. It is my Cheers bar. When I walk in there, I'll show you another picture here. Here's me in front of the bar right there. That's me on the left, and in the middle is a friend of mine, Matt, and then on the right is Guy Mills. And when I walk in there, the bartenders all know me. My first drink is always free, and I'm not a big drinker. I drink Pabst Blue Ribbon beer over ice. I don't try and get drunk or anything like that, but basically that drink will last me a long time. And then what happens after that is I switch back to Diet Coke. Diet Coke is my drink of choice, or green tea. So that's what I'm drinking in here. Hope everybody else is enjoying a good beverage this morning. But anyway, so Hogs and Heifers, they're famous for their bartenders, where they get on the megaphone and they curse out the customers and insult them and make jokes and things like that. They play good old time rock and roll. It's considered a biker's bar, but you know who owns Harley Davidsons? Most of your doctors and attorneys in town, and a lot of businessmen, they own them as well, because it's a lot of fun. I don't own a motorcycle, but I go there and I hang out there all the time. And I've become friends with the owner of Hogs and Heifers. I've known her for years. It's Michelle Dell, and that's me and her, and that's me about 30 pounds ago. But they used to have like an annual luau at the bar on a Sunday afternoon. And they do a lot of charity work, and that's the real reason why I'm showing you this here. Every year they do Toys for Tots for kids, cancer victims and their siblings, and they raise money, and they do a toy drive for that every year. And then they also do other charity work as well. This is a photograph of me. This is the original bar in New York City. It closed down several years ago because they lost their lease, but it was just a little 800 square foot bar down in the meatpacking district. And this is a picture of me in Times Square. I went to visit it a couple times in New York. That's me in Times Square wearing a Hogs and Heifers shirt. And then on the right, that's me standing outside the original location, which is famous bar in New York. And it's no longer, of course, open. But I went there to visit. And one of the things that they do every year, and it's going to be this coming May 5th, Sunday, May 5th, is they do what they call Hog Wild for children. And they do a motorcycle run, and they actually raise money. They do raffles, they give away prizes and that type of thing. And it's going to be Sunday, May 5th, and you can see the schedule there and all. And the money goes to kids with cancer, to Camp Cartwheel, which is the Nevada Childhood Cancer Foundation. And they send kids with cancer to summer camp up at Camp Cartwheel, up in the mountains up outside of Las Vegas. And they raise enough money, I think, to send anywhere from 150 to 200 kids a year to go to camp based on the money that they raise on this charity event. So I just wanted to mention it. It's going to be this coming Sunday, May 5th. And if anybody's interested here in Las Vegas, it's just a fun thing to do. And it's named it's the Guy Mills Memorial Hog Wild. You can see it there. And this is Guy Mills. He passed away a little over a year ago. He was a wonderful man. He'd lived here in Las Vegas all his life, and just a really great guy. And I got to be good friends with him. And he passed away about a little over a year and a half ago. And so they named the ride and the event after him in memorial to him. And he's just a great, great guy. So that's what's going on here in Las Vegas. All right, we're ready for my next segment. And, it's time we find out what's Misha been going on to. So I've got my dog, Misha. So here we go. There you go. There's Misha, playtime with Misha. I dug into the archives again, and I showed you a video of when I first got Misha, and I took her over to see my mother when she was in her apartment, and she's a cute little puppy, and my mom loves Misha. Anyway, Misha's now fully grown, of course, but I just thought that would be a cute video to share with everybody here. I just wanted to pop up this comment here. Hi, Love Food Kitchen. Thanks so much for being here. It says, Hogs and Heifers may be famous bar, but it's YouTube famous thanks to Mark. He talks about it so often, so regularly. It's now absolutely on my Vegas go-to list. Yeah, that's right. I am kind of the unofficial photographer, so self-proclaimed myself about Hogs and Heifers. I have gone there for over 16 years now. I've been going there off and on. And of course, I go to all the events, and they allow me to take photographs, and I post them on my Facebook page and all. And it's a good time. Like I said, when I go, I just go there to listen to the music, sit at the bar, and basically talk with the bartenders and the customers. And, we have a good time. It's always a good time. People are happy to see you there. And they don't have gambling. There's no video poker or anything like that. They don't have televisions. So you basically have to watch the entertainment on the bar. And the bartenders are famous, just like in the movie I told you about. They get up on the bar about, once or twice an hour, and they do that clog dancing in their cowboy boots on the bar, and everybody's got to get their stuff off the bar and stuff. And it's just a really good time. I met my attorney there. I have met a doctor that I use, and I met lots and lots of friends there. So anyway, if you're in Las Vegas, go to Hogs and Heifers. It's on 3rd Street downtown, and you won't regret it. You'll have a good time. So thanks, Love Food Kitchen. I appreciate that. Anyway, let's go on to our next segment here. You're going to learn more about me. It's time for True or False. Here we go. Hold on. True or false? Okay, I'm going to be the one answering the true or false questions here, and I hope you all enjoy them. So without further ado, let's get started. True or false? L. Ron Hubbard wasn't the only Eagle Scout in Scientology. That is true. He was not the only Eagle Scout in Scientology. Who is this young man here? This is me. Back when I was a teenager, I joined the Boy Scouts of America, and I made my way all the way up, and I became an Eagle Scout. I wasn't the reported youngest Eagle Scout of all time, somebody else lied about. But yeah, I was a Boy Scout, and I got all my merit badges. I did my community service project, and it was a great way to hang out and meet friends. Funny enough, I am not a camper. I do not like camping. Camping to me is Motel 6, and a lot of my friends will tell you that story. I'll never forget one time we went to Zion National Park back when I worked with Janice and her husband Paul at City Mortgage, and they planned a camping trip up to Zion, and I went up there for the day, but I'm not sleeping in a tent. I stayed in a Motel 6 instead. The reason being is I get cold really easy. I don't like sleeping on the ground, and I don't really I enjoy the outdoors, but I need a shower. I need a comfortable bed. So that's that. But that's me as a Boy Scout there at the time. All right, we'll go on to the next one. True or false, Mark? You started rocking Hawaiian shirts at an early age. That is actually true, everybody, and I will show you here right now. Okay. That's me right there on the left, rocking a Hawaiian shirt. I'm 4 years old there. My mother in the middle, and she's holding my baby brother, Doug, who just came from the hospital. This is 1962. I was 4 years old. My sister Betsy is on the left, and you can see right there that that I have been wearing Hawaiian shirts for quite some time. Okay. As a matter of fact, here I am. We actually then moved to Hawaii. That's me, my school photo on the left at 1 year, and on the right, you can see me rocking the Hawaiian shirt there. And of course, you all have seen me now. As you see right now, I am wearing a Hawaiian shirt right now. Fun fact, I think I have between 45 and 50 different Hawaiian shirts. I haven't actually counted them all up. I actually just found some more in my closet that I haven't worn in years. That I'm going to pull out and put them in the rotation. But I just rotate my shirts, just to be colorful. I actually started wearing them because they're comfortable and colorful, and I wanted to be able to stand out. Here in Las Vegas, it's much more of a casual town. When you're doing mortgages, that type of thing, there's no suit and tie. You don't have to do that. People are in polo shirts and Dockers. So I was Dockers and Hawaiian shirts. I just wanted to stand out. And so that's what I did. And then it really worked out for me when I would go out to like Hogs and Heifers, because bikers all, people who have Harley Davidsons, they're all wearing black, and I love black. I'll wear black, but, I'll wear a Hawaiian shirt when I'm in there, and people, a lot of people go like, what are you wearing a Hawaiian shirt in here for? I said, so you can find me in a crowd. Okay. Because in a sea of black, I'm the only person with any color, so that's why I wear them. They're comfortable, and they fit my personality. So anyway, so that's the story about my Hawaiian shirts. Okay. Next, true or false? You've been parting your hair in the center for years. That is actually a true fact, and I will show you right now. Okay. There on the left, that's my freshman high school picture when I was a freshman in high school. And you can see I parted it on the left, and then I had to pile it way over on the right. I have very thick hair, and it would stick up, pile up, that type of thing like that. And this is probably 1972, 73. And I hated my hair. I had it stuck behind my ears, and it just was hard to deal with. So my sister, who was older than me, she had a friend who said, oh, you know what, you should part your hair in the center, and then I'll cut it like a shag. So that's where you see me there in the center and also on the right. And so ever since then, for the last, 51 years, I've been parting my hair in the center, because it just lays flat and it looks better. And that's just the way I've always done it. So that's the reason why I have my hair parted in the center. And so that's the story about that. I also, at one point, I grew a beard after leaving Scientology. Here I am. My hair got really dark brown. I was born a towhead. I was a blondie when I was a little young kid, and then I was kind of a sandy brown when I was in Scientology. And then it got really dark brown, and I grew out a beard, and that was the thing to do. This is in the 1990s. It made me look older and all that, so I grew a beard. But then around 2000, my hair started to go a little bit gray, and I said, I'm going to start coloring my hair. And I thought, well, you know what? I got light eyebrows, my eyebrows are pretty light. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go blonde. And when I say blonde, I don't mean, I want to go Billy Idol blonde. Okay. So this is me right here. This is when I first, right after I got my hair dyed blonde for the first time. This is in around 2000. And you can see it's kind of reddish blonde because they had to dye it a couple of times because I have red undertones in my hair. So I said, she did it the first time, the lady, and I said, no, I want it even blonder. So she goes, okay. So they did it even blonder, and I've been blonde like this ever since. I said, I want Billy Idol blonde. And so I had a goatee there, and I ended up shaving that, and I've been off that since. But that's me when I first got my hair dyed blonde, and I've kept it that way ever since. And this looks right now like white almost with this light, but I still dye it. It's still blonde, and it's the only way. It helps to keep me looking young. People don't think I'm as old as I am, but that's my one bit of vanity. The only other good thing is that this is all my own hair. I don't have hair plugs like David Miscavige or anything like that. So that is the answer to that true or false question. Okay. We'll go to the next one. True or false? Your family all possess musical skills except for you. That is actually true. That's a true statement. My mother and father both played the piano, and my mother sang in a choir up until she was in her 80s here in Las Vegas. And my dad, he sang in the choir when he was young, but then he also, when he was in college, he was the bass voice of a barbershop quartet when he was in college. And so he sang a little bit too. My sister, my older sister, she learned the piano, played the piano, and then she actually studied concert piano. That was her major at Syracuse University, where she studied concert piano and graduated that. And then she lived out the rest of her life teaching piano and to kids. And she had some students apparently that became very famous. Unfortunately, of course, she disconnected from us when I left Scientology and disconnected from my mother, and then she passed away several years ago. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, so she had musical skills. But the real musician, the real one is my brother Doug, who is right here. And he is plays in a symphony orchestra. That's him there years ago, but he plays the bassoon, and that's what the bassoon is right there. And he started when he was in high school playing saxophone and then the bassoon. And then he went to college. He went to the Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York, and he majored in bassoon. And when he graduated, he immediately got hired by the Columbus, Ohio Symphony Orchestra as the second bassoonist. And he has been there ever since. He's been there probably 40 something years playing in the symphony orchestra. And he plays with everybody. I mean, anybody that comes into town at the symphony orchestra, he's played with Luciano Pavarotti. He's played with James Taylor. He's played with all sorts of famous classical musicians, as well as popular musicians that come to town in concert and need to have an orchestra behind them. And not only is my brother plays the bassoon and in the symphony, but he's been the president of the Musicians Union, AFL-CIO union, the president of the Musicians Union in Columbus, Ohio, for probably almost 30 years. He gets elected to that position every year, and he's the one who negotiates all the union contracts for musicians, and he takes care of their benefits. And so he's a real powerhouse where that comes. So that's my brother. He's a real musician. And as far as my musical ability, I have the ability to press play on my iPhone or my iPod, or plus play on a cassette deck, and that's my musical ability. Unfortunately, I didn't really follow it. I did take guitar lessons when I was a teenager. I really wanted to learn to play acoustic guitar, which is my favorite instrument. But as you can see, I got really small hands. I got small fingers, small hands. And so I had a hard time making the reaches, and I was more into sports. So I went the sports route, and I didn't really do music. And now I wish I had learned to play the piano, because I probably would have enjoyed that a lot more. But I never got around to it. So that is the story about that. And then finally, true or false? Here we go right here. Misha is your first fur baby, my first dog. And of course, that is false. All right. And I will show you right now. Sorry about that. Here we go. These were my dogs, Susie and Darla, that I got. And I got them in the early 2000s. They were rat terriers, both female. Susie on the left, Darla on the right. And I had them for many years. Really energetic, fun dogs. When I was, living in my house and had my own yard, my business, I decided I could finally have a dog because I was working from home. And so I had these two girls here. And here I am with them. You can see right there. And I love these dogs. They were a lot of fun, a lot of energy. And there they are in the back seat of the car. And then at night, they had their own room, and I used to tuck them into the couch. They had a blanket, and they knew when it was time to go to bed, they'd go up there and they'd sleep on their couch in their own room. I've never let my dogs sleep with me because they're like little mini space heaters, and I get too hot when I'm sleeping in bed. And so they always have their own space in their own room. But so I had Darla and Susie, and of course, they both passed away. They're tragic stories that I don't want to get into because they're the most sad stories that anybody can, have to deal with in life. So anyway, so those are my two dogs that I had, Darla and Susie, and I love them both. And anyway, so then I waited a few years, and then I got my Misha, who I have now, and I love Misha. So that's my little fur baby stories there. Ding, 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 ding. Anyway, if you've got questions or comments, please get in the comments and I will pull them up here. I know I've been ignoring them while I've been telling my little stories here, but I just wanted to say, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, Las Vegas Travel and More. And I'm going to continue with the show here, and I really appreciate it. The next stage we're going to go to is, what are you watching? Okay. This is my weekly little segment where I talk about what I'm watching on television or at the movies. And of course, I talked to you last week about Shogun. Shogun finally finished this week, the finale. It's on Hulu or FX. You can stream them on there. And Shogun, is, like I told you before, is it's based on the novel by James Clavell, which is my favorite book of all time. I've read it 5 or 6 times. It's 1,300 pages. It's long, but you'll enjoy every page of it. And I've listened to the audio book at least 5 or 6 times, which is fantastic. But anyway, and then they did a 1980 version of the book, a miniseries, very famous, with Richard Chamberlain in the 1980s and that type of thing. But anyway, the new Shogun just wrapped up. It's 10 episodes on FX or Hulu, and it's really, really well done. It doesn't follow the book exactly, which is fine. I don't mind that, but it is still the production quality is so much greater than it was in 1980. The costumes are fantastic. The scenery is fantastic. The acting is great. But the characters are a little bit different from the book and also from that 1980s version. But I highly recommend, if you haven't seen Shogun, I'm watching it again now because it came out one a week. And so I hate watching things that way now. So I've gone back and now I'm streaming through. I'm at episode 3 again because I like to see them back to back so I can see the story kind of unfold. But if you haven't seen Shogun, I recommend it highly. You can all watch that there. And I did that already. Okay, next thing, what are you reading? This is the last thing I wanted to recommend. Each week I kind of recommend a book that I've been reading. I don't know if anybody reads anymore. If you've got books that you like to read, please get in the chat. Let me know what they are, okay? But I wanted to mention this book. This is a book I finished a couple of months ago, and it's one of my favorite books this year that I've read. It's called Scattershot: Life, Music, Elton and Me, and it's written by Bernie Taupin. And Bernie Taupin is Elton John's musical writing partner from the very late 60s all the way through to today. He's the one that writes all the lyrics to Elton John's songs. He's the one that wrote Your Song. He's the one that wrote Tiny Dancer. He's the one that wrote Saturday Night Is All Right for Fighting. He writes the lyrics. Elton writes the song. He gets the lyrics from Bernie, and then he writes the music to them. And they've been partners ever since the late 1960s. And this book is fantastic because I listen to the audiobook, which I like to do. But he doesn't just talk about, oh, here's how I wrote this song, or I remember how I wrote that song. No, he talks about his life because he was born in England, he grew up in England, and then he immediately moved to the United States when Elton John took off in the 1970s, and he's become an American. I mean, he not only wrote music, all during his time for not just Elton John, but for others as well. He then became a painter and a sculptor, and then he loved cowboy. He always wanted to be a cowboy. He started raising cutting horses, the horses that cut out cows and that type of thing. And so he had his own ranch, and he became a professional writer. and won various championships across the United States doing his writing and stuff. And it's a really interesting story. He tells funny stories as well. This is what the book actually looks like in the United States if you're going to order it, and it's called Scattershot. I really highly recommend it. And then this week I was watching on YouTube, and both Elton John, that's Elton John, and Bernie Taupin right there, they won the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Song. And I was watching YouTube, and there were different artists that performed Elton John, Bernie Taupin songs, and I saw this fantastic clip. I don't know if anybody's metalheads here. I like all types of music, but Metallica did an absolutely killer version of Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding, that whole song from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and it kicks ass. It's fantastic. As a matter of fact, Elton John and Bernie, when it was over, they stood up and said, amazing, because it's an amazing thing. And I posted that clip on my YouTube channel. So if you get, or not on my YouTube, on my Facebook page, if you haven't seen it, you like that type of thing, please watch it. So that's that. Bernie Taupin, Scattershot, that's my book recommendation for the week. All right, let me get through, see if I have any comments here, things that people like to say. I appreciate you all being here and watching. Next week, I just wanted to mention I'm going to have a guest, which is going to be Janice's daughter, Erin Grady. Erin's going to be on, and we're going to talk about her life here in Las Vegas, growing up in Las Vegas, her business that she has, Healed by Oracle, and her CBD salve, and we're going to talk about her business. And then what was it like growing up with Janice as her mother? So we're going to be doing that as well. I see Terry Ray in the house. Thanks very much, Terry Ray, for being here. And Donna Jenkins, too. Hi, Donna. Wanted to welcome everybody here. Love Food Kitchen, thank you for being here. And Boda29, thank you very much. Strong story of perseverance. Yeah, you know what? I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I just want people to know that on your darkest days, there's always a way out, okay? You just have to keep looking to the future. Don't dwell on it when you're in the hole. I've been in the hole many times, but I've always ended up on my feet. My brother has said the same thing to me. He goes, Mark, you always end up on your feet. And, that's just because I don't dwell on my problems. I actually try and look for solutions, and I try and rely on people for help. But a lot of times I just end up doing it myself. So we have to be strong and persevere and not get crushed by our problems. So anyway, I appreciate that comment there, about a 29. Let's see here. Where else we got here? Love Food Kitchen says, channeling the wise beard man there. Thanks very much. That's Mark Bunker, is the wise beard man. And Love Food Kitchen also says, I never had any dogs other than Huskies. I couldn't even imagine having a Labradoodle or Terrier. Got to be a mad wolf dog for me. That's funny. I love my two little rat terriers. They were full of energy and all that, but they had completely different personalities. Susie was the older one, and she was a lap dog. She literally wanted to follow me everywhere I was at. If I was watching television, she wanted to be up in my lap. And then, of course, if she was up in my lap, then Darla would have to get in my lap. So I'd have two dogs in my lap, and they'd fall asleep while I was watching TV. And then when they fall asleep, all of a sudden, next thing you know, I'm out as well. So I would have to have them get up and get off my lap. Otherwise, I would be falling asleep all the time. Whereas Darla was Miss Playful, Miss Energy. She wanted to play, and she would run around, and she was happy-go-lucky and all that. So it's just funny. Dogs do have different personalities. It's not just the breed. They do have different personalities, and so that's that. And, of course, Misha is completely different. She's very independent, but she also likes to have fun. She's very energetic, and she's a good girl too. She's totally different. I wanted to have a larger dog so that it makes me go out and walk in my older age, and we go from there. And Janice Gillum Grady's in the house in the chat. I'm sure you guys have already seen that. Yay, love Aaron. I'll bet you do. And Aaron, Janice is here too. Thanks very much, Janice, for the support. I appreciate that. And anyway, those are the different comments. There's one other thing I wanted to mention, since Janice is here, is her business, Outback Naturals. We talked about it last week. She's got a product, Koala Calm. We got several orders. She did of her Koala Calm product. It's a magnesium drink that you drink either in juice or heated up hot water. You can get it in apple cinnamon or unflavored, and it'll help with stress, help you sleep, help with all those different things. And then of course she's got two other products. She's got the Instant CalMag, which is calcium magnesium drink, and it doesn't taste like vinegar. Anyway, so she's got that, and then she's got a joint formula, which I've got a bottle of it right here. If you're getting older, like most of us are, and your joints ache or anything like that, this joint formula was put together by Janice's husband Paul and her son John, and you just take a couple tablets of these, and it'll help your joints feeling a lot better. Anyway, you can order those products. There's a link down in the description of this video in our store. Just click on there and you can order them yourself, and they'll be shipped out to you in the United States. And anyway, so if you're interested in those things, please do so. Order Janice's products, Koala Calm, her joint formula, Instant CalMag, things like that. Let me see what else we've got going on here. Any other comments? Let's see here. Oh, Janice says both Paul and John are trained nutritionists. That's correct. Yeah, Paul studied in college, and John has his degree in nutrition from UNLV here in Las Vegas. So they are. And then Donna Jenkins says, "I love Koala Calm." Yep. And Janice says it's the best calm product on the market. Yes, it is. Anyway, I just wanted to mention those products there. That's pretty much it for this week's show. I hope you learned a little bit more about me. If you haven't already, like I said, please subscribe to my channel. Click on that channel where I'm at like 665 subscribers. I'm at 2,900 hours. I only need another 110 hours, view hours, and then I can get monetized. And this is going to help me in the future for my retirement as well. And also, if you want to support my channel, you can buy me a coffee. There's a link down below. You can click on that. Any donation is greatly appreciated. It's simple to do, and I appreciate any help or anything like that. Also, finally, if you've got any questions, comments, or suggestions for this show, if you've got books that you like that you want to suggest that maybe I should read, or shows that you like, please comment in there and mention them, and I'll give them a look if I haven't already, and I may feature them on the show here. So I really appreciate that as well. Anyway, everybody, I want to thank you all for watching this show, Freestyle with Mark Fisher, Las Vegas Travel and More. And until the next time, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.